Yo, what do you do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back for you with another new chapter of Gundam Seed Soldier. Yep, I'm back with another chapter of this series, and also, for those who are excited for this series, I have good news, but for those who are not, and probably haven't even clicked on the video, well, I have bad news for you. Good news for my loyal fans of this series. I've already finished the entirety of Gundam Seed Soldier. All the scripts are now been taken care of. All you need to do is just record, and I'm good to go. Currently working on scripts for that of Gundam Seed Destiny, which is Gundam Seed Soldier Destiny, and also working on that of the side series where I use another OC as that of a test pilot for in-between series. After all, I probably won't be focusing a lot on it, just a hunch and a way for you guys to understand on certain issues that happen in between the story. So yeah, look forward to that if I get to it. Also, so yeah, for those who aren't excited for this series, I'm already somewhat finished with this, and I'm already working on the sequel series of it, after all. But for those who are, well, you just wait for more. So, with a little bit of a short recap, given that the last chapter was pretty long, Eren, the Archangel crew, alongside that of the Desert Dawn, are now working together for the time being, with now understanding the reason on why Guy Morikumo, pilot of the Gundam Blue Astray, is there to get revenge on that of Andrew Walfeld and his Walfeld company. Kigali, alongside Kisaka, wanted answers on why the Loveless and the Strife are basically in the hands of mercenaries, after all, with finding out the truth about everything that is going on, with Eren telling her about that of the Saracen and the Sahaku family basically manipulating things in the scenes, basically telling her that her hatred for her father about their neutrality wasn't really his fault, and that he can't control everybody in the damn nation of Orb. Just because he's leader doesn't mean he can control everyone, and is not afraid to basically call her out on her bullshit as well, unlike a lot of people in this series. So yeah. Also, let's bring in the fact that Kira and Sai basically despise Eren as well, mainly for one reason. Flay is downright in love with Eren, aka Ace, after all. And given that Sai is still her, fiance, and Kira still has a crush on Flay, let's just say the teenage drama is basically ramped up to a 10. Not only that, Nataro also may have feelings for Eren as well, but Eren's not really aware of it. More like, he refused to believe it. And last but not least, another change in another showing that this is an AU series with Commander Shiro Izuyoi asking Walfeld not to attack Tassel and basically make an example out of the Desert Dawn for, interfering in the battle between him and the Archangel crew, after all. Mostly because Shiro wants to make peace with the Desert Dawn and many of the other towns and villages of the northern African territories that they're in, not wanting any more pointless bloodshed, after all. So, with enough said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 9, The Meaning Behind War. A day has now passed since everything that has now gone on. The attack on Tassel hasn't happened, which, once again, is putting Eren on edge right now. Given that, it should have happened right after the Archangel crew and the Desert Dawn basically decided to work together, but instead, it didn't. Which means that another change into the timeline of Gundam Seed, wondering if this is his fault, or it could be that other commander and her squad, Shiro Izuyoi, Commander Shiro Izuyoi, aka the White Fox, as the Alliance and Zaf likes to call her. During this time, Eren basically wanted to figure out who the hell is the White Fox. And given that the Alliance did give him at least some access to their systems on the Archangels, he found them out. Turns out, Commander Shiro Izuyoi is actually a half natural, half coordinator. Her mother is a natural, while her father is a coordinator. She spent most of her childhood on Earth after all, but after seeing on how much that coordinator discrimination was basically going around on Earth, their parents decided to move up to the plants. During that time, she enrolled into that of a military academy, mostly just for schooling. She was turned out to be one of the best by a total accident and joined the military at a young age. Because of her piloting skills, she became a Zaf Redcoat right off the bat. And then when the Bloody Valentine Massacre happened, and when the Earth Alliance and Zaf had their first battle, turns out she became basically well-known and well-respected off the bat. She can basically pilot any form of mobile suit, but the one that she basically excels in the most are that of Buku's. Hell, if anything, if she does come on the battlefield, I would be surprised if she isn't in her own Lego, just like that of Walfelt as well. Damn, what the hell? With then looking through the rest of her other team, such as a coordinator girl known as Melanie Stadfield. Her rank is that of lieutenant in Zaft, and not only that, she's also considered to be her squad's, tactician/strategist as well. She does take on the battlefield as well to gain a better feel of the situation, but she mainly prefers to be behind the scenes. Then there's her other two squad mates, Sabrina Roano, who is an ensign, and the other ensign of the team, Jill Suniko. I'm guessing those were the two other custom Bukus that I fought against when I first arrived back with the Archangel crew. And now, I'm dealing with basically another person that's probably on the same level as Walfelt. Great. Just great. And if that's the case, if I looked up in her background, they say she doesn't really fight as much. Not only that, she has the most mobile suit takedowns, but not the most amount of kills after all. So basically, she's one of the pilots that basically spares their enemies instead of kills. She reminds me of Kira, but unlike Kira, it doesn't seem like she whines about killing people. More like she regrets if she has to, but doesn't regret doing it till we get it. Maybe she's not half bad after all. Maybe she'll be a lot more reasonable, unlike that Walfelt who has the heart and spirit of a warrior. He's truly a soldier through and through, which again is hard to see in this series, to be honest, because there's not that many soldiers in Seed outside of the main cast. With Eren thinking this, realizing, right, and now we're going into the city to gain supplies. The moment I've been waiting for this entire time, when Kira and Kigali are going to basically meet with Walfelt himself, and also Aisha as well. This will be the eye-opening that Kira needs to finally realize to get him out of his goddamn funk. To realize that the soldiers of Zaf are just as much as people as those in the Alliance as well. The same thing that how Amara went through with Rumble Rao. But again, I should stop complaining. With Eren basically sitting in the same back seat with that of Kira, Kigali, with being driven by that of Kisaka, sitting in the same seat with that of Guy, and surprisingly, instead of Narumi, it's actually Nadarol, being the second in command and lieutenant of the Archangel. It only makes sense that she basically sees through that of the, supply transfer from that of the black market to that of the Archangel once they leave the the northern desert of Africa. As for me, well, turns out I'm tagged along to make sure that Kira and Kigali are properly taken care of and safe. Surprisingly, I will not lie. Knowing that we're basically going to get shot by Blue Cosmos is kind of making me nerve-wracking right now. As Aaron thinks this and feeling this, his entire body feels pretty tense right now. Even his heart is beating pretty fast, knowing that he's going to be dragged into a literal firefight. I mean, sure, he's piloted a mobile suit more times than he can count, mainly through his gunplay after all. But again, that's mainly through that of games, and he's known that he's able to handle himself in that of a mobile suit battle. And a literal firefight on that of the ground using literal guns, not so much. He may have that of some experience with firearms, given that his dad always used to take him out for hunting trips when he was young and still sometimes to even at his current age. But he mainly used that of bows or possibly that of small firearms. He actually always hated using rifles, to be honest. But honestly, he volunteered for this mainly because he needs to bring up his point of view on how this war is going to react. With this situation, Kira won't be basically a stubborn asshole. He'll actually be listening due to the situation after all. Hopefully he does. With then finally arriving into town, with Kira, Kigali, and Aaron soon getting off. Within soon, Kisika saying, "We'll be going to the black market, you three. You said you have shopping to take care of for the rest of the crew, right?" With then Kira saying, yeah, we do. We'll be going into the market at least for a little while." With then soon, Kigali saying, "And since I know the place, I'll be able to take care of the things that you guys do need." With then soon, Aaron saying, "And I'm only here for backup and as you guys' bodyguards, of course." With then Kigali saying, "Yeah, appreciate it." With, as for Kira, he could still narrow his eyes, saying, "Yeah, thanks." Within soon, Aaron thinking, God, this bastard. God, I hate this teenage asshole. And I'm only 18. Seriously, I'm 2 years older than him and I'm a lot more mature than him. With then soon, Nataro saying, "Ensign Yamato." With then soon, Kira getting out of his slump, being the fact that he's going to be stuck with Aaron, saying, yes, Lieutenant Badgerel." With her saying, "Remember, you are still a soldier of the Alliance. Show some decorum and some respect as well while you're in public. And do not just leave that of all of your bodyguard duty to not just to Ace here. Make sure to do your own share of work as well, outside of being a pilot too." With then hearing that, Kira saying, "Yes, ma'am. I understand, ma'am." With then sued, guy saying, "Still can't believe a kid like him really is a soldier. Coordinator or not, he really doesn't act like one. He's not fitted to be one, to be honest." With then hearing that from Guy, especially given that they both are coordinators as well, it just makes Kira feel a lot more depressed as well. With then Kigali speaking up, defending Kira, saying, "Well, it's not like anybody's fitting to be a soldier. Sometimes they're forced into the limelight after all. Don't be comparing yourselves just because you both are coordinators after all." Within hearing that, Kigali is defending him. Kira couldn't help but smile, and out of joy. Within Sue, within Guy saying, Yeah, got it, Miss Princess. Now, we better get going." Kisika saying, "Yes. Please, be careful, you three." Within Nataro looking back at Ace with that of a worried look. Within Aaron seeing the look on her face, couldn't help but say, "I'll be fine," especially with them too. Within, after hearing that, she nods before the three adults soon head off, leaving the three teenagers all by themselves. Within thinking, "So, Kigali, lead the way." With that, she can up and say, "All right then, I'll show you the best places on where you need your supplies, Kira." with then Kira basically showing the list. There's some of the things that the crew wants, but it's mainly from Flay though. After saying that, he having that of a nervous look on his face, with then Aaron basically remembering the words, saying, right. I'm surprised that she basically went to Kira for this instead of going to me, asking. Probably too embarrassed. And even I would be embarrassed. Again, not that good with girls outside of my friend group. Speaking of my friend group, I really wonder how the others are doing. I wonder if they're all going to be safe after all. And I wonder if Sam is trying his butt off to get me out of here. That damn crazy Asian mad scientist. With Aaron feeling annoyed, thinking about his fellow Gunpla friend and, rival. He couldn't, wondering if Sam really is trying his best to get him out during this time. With currently getting out of the current time back to that of the present, and the present time in the real world, or the regular world, I should say. Two figures began to get off of that of two different planes. One being a female with that of long blonde hair, wearing that of sunglasses and also a fancy green dress that shows where the dress shows her elbows after all, and one slit through that of the right side of the leg. As for the other, being that of a young Japanese young man that looks like in his, late teens to early 20s, with that of silver hair, also wearing that of sunglasses as well, but also wearing that of a casual uniform, being that of a blackish gray jacket, that of a blue t-shirt under it, and that of blackish gray pants as well. As both of them began to leave the plane and heading to their specific lanes, the two of them began to notice one another. As then, soon, the female couldn't help but smile, looking at the silver-haired young man. As for the silver-haired young man, he couldn't help but also smirk as well, as the two walked to each other. Within, the young woman saying, "Meijin, it's so good to see you again after all these years, after a year since the last tournament." Within, the Meijin, or rather, Ryuji Morisaki, he should say, "Well, it has been a while, hasn't it, CEO, or Miss Stephanie Yorsha, or Miss Yorsha, I should say. Please, we're friends here, Ryuji. Just call me Stephanie, or Steph, by any chance. Either one works." With it soon, Ryuji saying, Of course. So, I'm guessing since you're here, Aaron also called you as well." With then, Stephanie couldn't help but have that of a solemn look, saying, "Of course, he did. But personally, I was actually going to do a few business meetings, but when Aaron called, it was on my personal cell phone. And when it's on my personal cell, all business meetings don't take that priority. So I figured it had to be something pretty important. And seeing he called you, it has to be really important if he's bringing in the Meijin of Gunpla battles." With Ryuji nodding, saying, "Yeah, actually, it's something that he wanted us to see in person. So I guess, and also found out that one of his Gunpla battle friends, a pretty well-known tournament fighter here in the US, had something important he wanted to show. Hopefully, it's nothing too crazy. I've heard quite a bit of things about Mr. Sam Young." With then soon, Stephanie came up and say, "Same here as well. So, darling, shall we go?" Saying, Yes, ma'am." Within, the two Gunpla battlers head to Sam's apartment complex, taking that of a cab, and soon arriving. With then, seeing as they arrive onto the premises, soon Gabe already sees them as he's basically outside keeping an eye for them, making sure not to, making sure that the security system is actually down this time, unlike what had happened with him. Within soon seeing the two, being the CEO and the Majin, saying, "Hey, you two, up here." With them seeing the waving African-American young man. Within soon, they begin to head out. Within Gabe thinking, he really did disarm the security system this time. That damn brat. Seriously, was I the only exception? Having an annoyed look and gritting his teeth in that of frustration and anger. Within arriving with all their bags after all. With Soon, she's saying, "Well, you must be Mr. Gabriel, or Gabe, I had to say. Aaron's told me a lot about you." Saying, "Likewise." And seeing that of the champion of the UK, Steph, and president of Gunpla Stars, "Well, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I won't lie, I have used your cosmetic Gundam parts after all to upgrade my Gunplas after all. So, thanks a lot for that." Saying, "Oh, so you're also a customer of my company too? I appreciate that. I always hated the fact that a lot of people had to buy more Gunplas to get the parts that they needed for their own custom-made models after all. It always annoyed me. So, I always thought of just allowing people to create the parts themselves and ship them off all to the world, besides having to buy the Gunplas as a whole. I'm grateful for everything I've done to help out." Within Ryuji saying, "Of course, you've done so much for the community." Stephanie, as the Majin, I have to be thankful as well. With her basically enjoying the praise, the young CEO president couldn't help but say, "Oh, stop, you two. You're going to make me blush." Saying, "Well, I just gave you a compliment and I appreciate your company. That's it. As for the reason why you guys are here, I would tell you myself, but I think it's best if Aaron basically tells you." With then soon, both of them look at the somewhat tired and somewhat annoyed African American as they follow him to that of the same base. Within seeing that of Sam going through his computers once again, while also seeing that of Aaron, as he basically has that of multiple Gunpla kits right in front of him. With then, as they're all still in their boxes though, within hearing the door open, saying, "Hey, Ryuji, Stephanie, you guys made it. I'm really glad that you came." With then Sue, she's saying, "Well, anything for you, darling. After our battle the last time, I was really looking forward to facing you again. And seeing on how popular you've gotten with the community, it only makes sense." Within Ryuji saying, "You said it was important to Gunpla battle as a whole. We may be friends and rivals, but if it involves Gunpla, I have to get involved. So, what's so important about this?" With then Sue, Aaron saying, "What if I told you that this crazy ass mad scientist right here," pointing right at Sam, with Sam basically trying to not gain any attention from the two world-renowned Gunpla battlers, basically created that of a device that didn't just, mimic or basically replicate things from the anime or manga or even the video games of Gundam series as a whole, but also it was actually a gateway to basically one of the Gundam series entirely. Hearing all that, Ryuji and Stephanie couldn't help but think, "Are you high by any chance?" Within seeing the looks on both of their faces, within soon, Sam couldn't help but sigh, saying, "From Aaron's experience, yeah, he's telling the truth. I literally made a gateway to not just any Gundam series, but to the Seed the Seed series, the cosmic era of Gundam." With then soon, Stephanie saying, "Care to explain or go from the beginning?" With then going at least in that of 30 minutes of explaining on what has happened to him, especially especially currently now, as he's still going through that of the explanation for Gabe and for them. But then soon, Ryuji saying, "Eren, my friend, are you sure you're okay? The mental strain you must have gone through for that," saying, "I'm fine, at least for now. Right now, I still need to finish my story." But then Gabe saying, "Yeah, you still need to finish on why that you're currently now in town. You're currently about to meet with Andrew Waldfeld. Am I right?" Saying, "Yeah. And let's just say the meeting with the guy was really something else. And I mean something else. Because little did I know, speaking to him, basically telling him my ideas and how I see the war, and basically not just changed him, but also somebody else as well. After saying something that cryptic, everybody can help but be shocked, except Sam, with then soon back into that of the Universal Seed Century, currently on that of the Archangel. Everybody is doing their task. The engineers are basically keeping an eye on the mobile suits with that of Chief Murdoch. Many of the operators on that at the bridge are keeping things in check as well, while the Heliopolis crew are currently on break. As for Narumi and Mu, basically keeping an eye on everything. With then soon Mu saying, "Surprised that you actually you told the lieutenant to go instead. I would expect that you would prefer to go in her stead." With then Narumi speaking, saying, "Well, originally I was. However, the lieutenant Nataro has done so much for the ship and the crew, picking up the slack alongside me. Unlike me, who only got this task because of my high ranking as a lieutenant. I'm an engineer. I'm not really a good, captain and good for battles." With then soon Mu saying, "The hell are you talking about? Just because you're an engineer and you didn't decide to be that of a battle operator, unlike her, doesn't mean that you're not capable of being the captain that you are. You've done so much for the crew. Not to mention everything you've did. We got Kira, we got the strike. We even have those kids from Heliopolis who are willing to help out too. To be honest, everything, it may not have gone properly or as well or smoothly as we thought it should have, but it has. And nothing wrong with that, to be honest." Then we got the mercenary kid, Ace. Honestly, kid's rough around the edges, but you can tell he's just a normal kid. Even for an 18-year-old, he would have been at the proper age to join the military, to be honest. With then hearing that, soon Narumi saying, "Something about him just feels off. Almost like he knows things that we don't. It just makes me unease around him, that's all." With then Mu saying, "That's called 7 Sense, Captain." With then soon Narumi looking back at the blonde mobile armor pilot, saying, "I've had those feelings from time to time as well. Things that I can't explain. Sometimes it's just being able to sense people. We call that a 7 sense, to be honest. It's how I was able to survive many of my engagements as that of the Hakim Endymion, after all, even though I'm not a big fan of my title and nickname." With then soon Narumi saying, "If you say so, you really think that he has 7 sense? Given the abilities that he's capable of, I believe that's what's kind of getting him through with this mobile suit training. Hell, whatever besides just the OS and those AIs as well, that's also one of the reasons too. Hopefully, once this mission on getting the strike and the Archangel to that of to the Joshe base, he'll be able to share at least some of that technology with the Alliance. Hopefully, but doubtful. You know how mercenary types are. They can be quite secretive." With Mu saying this with that of a chuckle and still pretty much smiling as well. Within Narumi saying, "Like I said, doubtful. Plus, an organization that was supposed to be founded by a former admiral of the Alliance of the Atlantic Federation, who was willing to not just let in naturals but also coordinators as well. It just opens up a lot of doors. If anything, if I recall, there was one admiral who was actually against the whole battle between Night of the Planets and the Alliance as a whole. And I believe his name was Admiral Reeve Twesty. Within Moose saying, right, yeah, I've heard of the guy. Guy was really vocal on the whole battle between that of the planets and the Alliance would cause the destruction of Earth. A lot of lives would be lost and everything. Even though he was even against the whole attacking the planets at one point until Blue Cosmos basically screwed that up for all of us. And then I heard the guy basically resigned afterwards, and finally, and nobody's heard from him ever since until now. Hearing that he's most likely the one he's the one that either founded or financed Avalanche to this day. Guess that kind of makes sense for the kid why he doesn't see coordinators as an enemy or naturals as different people, but within Narumi saying he sees them as human. Within both leaders couldn't help but think to themselves, maybe we're being too rough on the kid, especially Narumi, as ever since coming back to the Archangel, she's been pretty strict and pretty rough with him all the time, mainly because it goes against her chain of command, of course, but also she just worries, believing that he's a kid that's just playing around, but even so, he's done so much to help them, even given his own point of view and advice that actually helps out quite a bit. And yet, she's done nothing but mistrust him all this time. Maybe after he comes back, she can apologize properly within soon. However, little did Mu and Narumi know, or even those outside of the Archangel as well, certain things was happening. Currently, now inside of the Archangel, Sai on his break couldn't help but get annoyed at the fact that Flay has basically been ignoring him since that day in the mess hall, calling out both Kira and him, and also hearing the words from Moralia as well, that the fact that Flay is actually in love with Aaron. Within Sai thinking to himself, Flay's in love with that damn mercenary? Flay's in love with that bastard Ace? I can't accept it. I refuse to accept that. Then soon, I'm also thinking, wait a minute, Kira's been supporting me, and also, sure, we're close friends, but however, then realizing that back in Heliopolis, Kira always blushed when Flay was around, when she came to see Sai out all the time. Not only that, he was the first person that worried about Flay most of the time as well, as he began to think that one of his closest friends, even though he's a coordinator, Kira would never go after his fiance, would he? Then soon, realizing that both Kira and Ace, or rather Aaron, are both pilots, thinking to himself, what's so great about them being pilots? What's so great about him being a pilot? It's not that hard, is it? Then soon, Sai basically running off at his fastest speed, heading to the hangar bay, then soon getting on to that of the heading to that of the walkway to that of the suits, as he was thinking about going to that of the Loveless. However, he remembered back then that both Aaron's mobile suits have that of AIs, being that of Akihiko and Alleluia as well. Thinking that they'll probably just trap him inside of them and not even let him do anything. With then soon realizing that the next best one is most definitely the strike. Within running to the strike and getting into it. Within Murdoch seeing Sai saying, "Hey, Sai, what are you?" Within noticing saying, "Wait, Sai, don't go in there!" Running to the sunglasses, blonde-haired cadet. With then getting in as Sai gets into the strike Gundam. With then as then closing the hatch, as Murdoch finally arrives saying, "Sai, what are you?" As activating the mobile suit, he begins to step at least a few inches within suit saying, I'll show them I can pilot too. I can pilot just as good as within soon. Without realizing it, he begins messing up his footing and the strike begins to fall. However, before it does, soon both the Strife and the Loveless grab onto the Strike's arms, catching everybody off guard, with especially Sai wondering, why did I stop falling? Within soon on the screen, opening up being that of Akihiko and Alleluia. Within soon, Akihiko saying, "All right, kid, I think it's about time you get out of that mobile suit now. It's not a toy." Within soon, Alleluia saying, "Sai, was it? Please, don't make this any rough as it already is. We don't want you to get any more trouble than you already most likely are. Just do the right thing. Get out of the cockpit and get out of the strike." With thin suit, Sai can't help but sigh, saying, Why? It's not fair! It's not fair, damn it! Why can't I? How is it not fair? As Sai begins to tear up, even messing up his glasses through his tears as well. With them soon, Akihiko saying, looks like the boss was right. This dumbass was seriously planning on either hijacking either one of the mobile suits. At least he was smart to realize that if he tried he wouldn't be able to, we would probably stop him. Within Alleluia saying, that is true, but however, he doesn't have a GP base on him. So he wouldn't even be able to even use to pilot us to begin with. To be honest, it's pretty stupid. With then soon, both AIs basically set the strike back down, putting the strike Gundam onto his knees, and then a few of the engineers began getting that of a mobile lift. With then Murdoch getting into that of the cockpit, grabbing onto Sai, saying, "The hell were you thinking, Sai?" With then soon seeing that Sai was tearing up as he began to actually get that of annoyed. Within soon, Narumi and Mu actually heard the commotion from one of the engineers that contacted the bridge and told him about what Sai just did. With then soon, Mu couldn't help but scratch the back of his head and that of, worry, and Narumi couldn't help but look at the young Heliopolis team with that of pity and also that of annoyance as well. Currently, outside of the city and that of the desert, two jeeps began to leave from one another as it almost seems like they were that they were originally together actually. As in one jeep, it being that of the leader of the Desert Dawn, Sahib Bashman, with a few of his members, especially a young boy by the name of Toto, with then soon the young boy saying, "Sir, why did you allow them why did you have to meet with them or even go with their plan to begin with? They're our enemy," saying, "We're our enemy. In the next 2 days, we will be no longer fighting Zaf forces and the Desert Dawn will disband." That's what we made an agreement on, saying, "But sir," saying, "Tahoe, I understand that you feel regret and hatred for Zaft, but that woman generally wants to help our people. genuinely wants to make it better for all of us. They could have just taken everything, taken what they wanted, just as the Eurasian Federation tried to do years ago, especially months ago as well. But she didn't. And not only that, she's keeping Walfeld in check as well. The man he's a good man, but a cruel man, but a man that prefers battle more than anything. She is a woman, she is a warrior as well, but a warrior of peace. We should be grateful that the White Fox offered this deal to us. Once the Archangel crew leaves, and then everything will change. With then soon Toho saying, "If you say so, sir." With that, soon they head back. Within soon, sit on the other jeep, it being that of Commander Shiro, as she's saying, "That went better than I expected." As her lieutenant, Melanie, couldn't help but speak up, saying, "If you say so, Commander. Personally, I agree with your methods. Would be a lot more easier. We'll be no longer wasting lives of the people here, and the rebellious force will be finally put down. Once the Legate ship leaves, or if we can sink it, everything in this territory should be under ZAF control. The peaceful approach and the logic and reasonable approach that you have makes quite a bit of sense. It's the reason why I respect you, Commander." With Finch saying, "Thank you. As for now, we should let's head into town and tell Randy the good news." But knowing him, if this is what's happening, he's most likely going to definitely go after the Legate ship, or rather the Archangel, I should say, alongside Rao's boys too. Speaking of those boys, have they been keeping out of trouble? I would expect that Ensign Jewel would cause quite a bit of trouble. Then soon, Melanie speaking up, saying, "Originally we thought so as well, but he's actually become a lot more reasonable. He's even looking up our past battles and strategies as well. It seems like he took your words to heart. He wants to go after the Legate ship. He's willing to put aside his pride to take down his mortal enemy. As for Ensign Elsman, though, he's more lazy than anything. He's been flirting with many of the female soldiers at Guerrilla Fortress. Even tried to flirt with me." With then saying, "How did that go?" With then soon saying, "Not well, I figured." After saying that, the two women head back into town to tell Walfeld the good news. A few minutes later, currently in town, both Kira, Kigali, and Aaron are basically getting the supplies they need. However, it's the last remaining supplies that are quite annoying, to be honest, as it mainly being that of women's skincare, or basically typical, female products after all, such as that of hair wash, skin cream, and also makeup as well. Then Kira couldn't help but laugh, thinking, that's Flay for you. She doesn't do anything halfway after all. Then soon Aaron couldn't help but giggle too, saying, "Well, she is a rich girl. Can't blame her for that. Even though she's doing well as that of a radio operator, she is still your typical rich girl." Then soon, as Kira couldn't help but agree, but then remember that he's agreeing with Aaron, saying, "Yeah, guess so. I mean, you would know that, right?" Then soon saying, "Seriously, Kira, get over yourself. Just because our ideas are different from one another doesn't mean you have to basically act like a dick to me." With Kira saying, "Me? What about you? You act like you're basically one giant ass prick. I'm only doing this for my friends," saying, "Oh right, yeah, your friend's excuse. The same reason on why you came back to the Archangel. Are you sure it's for your friends? Or is it for Flay? With then, so Kira saying, what? With then, Kigali couldn't help but get annoyed saying, all right, enough, both of you. Seriously, I really don't want to hear the two of you argue. I heard quite a bit from the crew and the Desert Dawn. The two of you can't help but just argue every minute that you can. It's starting to annoy me too. With then, after hearing that, both of them couldn't help but actually, look from each other, with Kira huffing and Aaron saying, it's not my fault. Tell this little child from basically being so damn immature. Saying, you're only 2 years older than me. Yeah, and I'm more mature than you. And that says it all. From somebody, seriously, how can somebody like you be the ultimate coordinator if you're basically this stupid and immature? You're so damn narrow-minded. That's for damn sure. With then, soon, Kira saying, what was that? Saying, nothing important. With then, soon, Kigali saying, all right, why don't we go and get some kebabs, actually? I know this stand that has quite a bit. With then, as Kigali heads off, little did she know that they're being watched, or rather, the person that's actually, following them is being watched. However, Aaron, on the other hand, saying, looks like he's arrived. And not just him, those damn Blue Cosmos bastards too. With then soon looking at the sidearm that he was given by that of Moo, pulling it out of its holster before looking at the gun, as thinking, seriously, I am not a big fan of shooting people. Hunting animals are one thing, but killing literal people is another. With then soon, Aaron can help but shake his head as he's just preparing, still putting it back in its holster, but unbuttoning it just in case. With then thinking, Blue Cosmos isn't people. Blue Cosmos isn't people. The racist bastards that don't give a damn about any lives if they're willing to kill so easily. They're not human anymore. Just keep saying it over and over again. With then, as Aaron keeps saying this internally in his mind over and over, as he walks with Kira to go after Kigali, with them heading to that of a restaurant that sells that of kebabs. Within, took Kigali off and saying, you should try this sauce right here. It tastes amazing with your kebabs. With then soon, as she was about to offer some to Kira, within soon, a man with that of tan skin and that of semi-spiky brunette hair, wearing that of black sunglasses, couldn't help but giggle. With then soon, Aaron looking himself, seeing that of the Desert Tiger himself, one of the manliest men in the Seed series, Andrew Walfeld, is thinking, damn, I knew in the actual anime he was pretty damn handsome, but in real life, the guy is basically drop dead handsome as hell. He's basically a true man's man. Seriously, this guy, no wonder this guy could give Moo a run for his money. With Kigali getting annoyed at the man saying, and what's with you? What are you laughing about? Saying, huh? Oh, it's just saying that the sauce you're planning to use, it's not a bad choice, but trust me, as he brings up his own sauce packet, being that of yogurt sauce, saying, with this yogurt sauce with your kebabs are a lot more better. Trust me. Within, feeling like she's been disrespected by those words alone, Gully's saying, yogurt sauce on a kebab? Are you insane? Like hell that would taste good. With Zakira, seriously, you too, Ace. This sauce is way much better than that. With Sue, Kira's saying, well, you see, I don't mind. It's just that within Aaron saying, I could try. I got 3 kebabs right here. I can put one with yogurt sauce, one with the sauce you have, Kigali, and probably one with both of them. It wouldn't be within soon. Both Wafeld and Kigali saying, no way in hell. you gotta choose either one or you can't choose both. You gotta choose one or the other. With then saying, that's just unreasonable. We can solve this like pure adults instead of treating this like a goddamn. With then none of them basically listening to Eren, as soon they begin to fight over on trying to put their own special sauce on Kira's kebabs. But then Eren basically getting annoyed at this, as realizing looks like they're in place. With soon preparing as he begins eating one of his kebabs without any sauce at all, as he's not going to go hungry while basically being drawn into a goddamn firefight. As then he begins promoting the same mantra again, preparing, saying, Blue Cosmos is not human. Blue Cosmos is not human. Blue Cosmos is not human. As begins getting more and more nervous while muttering, as he internally kept it in his mind, but however, it begins to mutter out of his mouth due to his nervousness. Within Kira noticing this, saying, Ace, what are you? With soon, as without realizing it, the yogurt sauce and the sauce that Kigali had begins to go all over Kira's kebabs. Within soon, Kigali could up and say, the hell are you doing? With then saying, I should say the same to you, young lady. With then, without realizing it, the man saying, get down! With all of them, as he brings all three of them down to the ground, with the table going up. As then, multiple gunfires basically go through that at the table. Within, soon, one of them scream out, for our blue and pure world, die you coordinator scum! With multiple gunfires going off, even one with many people basically running away from the firefight. Within soon, Eren saying, damn it, I knew Blue Cosmos would show up. With then soon, Kigali saying, wait, that's Blue Cosmos? Hearing that word, Kira couldn't help but actually gulp in that of fear, meeting that at the terrorist group that hunts down and kills coordinators, and was the start of the war to begin with as well. With after that, soon, Eren begins to prepare to shoot, as he begins to nervous, with shake as the pistol in his hand begins to shake, as saying, calm yourself. Remember dad's hunting tricks. With remembering the words that his father basically told him. Within soon, he begins to prepare a shot, calming himself, cooling him off, even with all of the gunfire basically going off everywhere. He soon fires, shooting that of a Blue Cosmos supporter in that of his shoulder, before firing off another shot, shooting him into the throat as he goes down to the ground. As then, soon, Eren notices this as he begins to hyperventilate, realizing, I actually shot a person. I really shot a person. With then noticing the rest, Andrew all felt, realizing that it's the first time the kid has actually shot somebody. Within him grabbing that of another gun, firing at more other Blue Cosmos supporters. However, at the exact same time, his men, alongside that of his second-in-command, Takasta, show up as well, finally putting an end to that of the firefight too, while killing off the remaining Blue Cosmos supporters. Within, Andrew seeing the situation saying, wow, that takes care of all of that. Sorry getting you kids involved after all. With then, soon, seeing that Kigali basically has tons of yogurt and her own sauce basically in her hair and on her clothes as well. As for Kira getting out of his own thoughts, wondering, Kigali, Ace, are you all okay? With then, soon, Ace, as Kira sees Ace still holding a smoking gun in his hands, while also looking at his eyes, that as his blue eyes show that of shock and in disbelief. With then, soon, Kira basically putting a hand on Eren's shoulder as he freaks out, please. With then, he's saying, Oh, right. It stopped. It's finally over, right? With then soon, Kira saying, yeah, it is. Within soon, slumping back onto that of the table. Within saying, thank God, I don't want to do that again. With then soon, Kira couldn't help but be shocked, saying, but I've piloted mobile suits, Kira. I've never shot a person outside of a mobile suit. This is different from fighting in a mobile suit. 100 times different. At least in a mobile suit, I know I'm somewhat well protected. Not like this. With then soon, seeing the fear and the shakiness in his mouth, as then Kira saying, so you really with then Kira after this, Walfeld walking over to the three saying, you three okay? But then Galley's saying, yeah. And what was your coordinator? I figured that you were a coordinator, but within Takasta saying, Commander Walfeld, all Blue Cosmos members have been eliminated. As for everything else, we have made sure to reimburse many of the shops in town and many of the shops of any damages happened because of them. But then soon, Walfeld saying, good. I would actually get an earful from Shiro if we didn't, after all. Hearing the name Walfeld. But then soon, Kigali saying, you're Andrew Walfeld, the Desert Tiger. With then Kira saying, wait, he's remembering all the words that Aaron said about Walfeld, saying, he's the guy that you were talking about? Within soon, Aaron getting out of his thoughts, especially out of the fact that he actually shot and killed somebody outside of a mobile suit. Within saying, yeah, figures as much. Within soon, Andrew saying, unlike these two, you don't seem surprised that I'm the infamous Andrew Walfeld, leader of the Desert Tiger and the Walfeld Company. Saying, why should I? I've seen your face before, after all. Not only that, my old squad mates told a lot about you, after all. Especially how much of an honorable and caring man you are. Especially to people who aren't soldiers. With thin suits saying, you know your stuff. Well, seeing the situation the little lady is in, why don't I make it up to the three of you, after all? Come back to my place, and she can take care while the two of you can de-stress for the time being. With Thin, after hearing that, soon Kira begins to freaking out that he's going to be in, enemy-controlled territory. Kigali believes that they're going to be in a trap, but then soon Aaron's saying, that would be great, after all. Given the situation, I think we do need to de-stress from what just happened. With then the two teenagers couldn't be shocked and surprised that their comrade had basically just drove them into that of the lion's den, after all. Little did they know that this is exactly what Aaron wants. With then arriving in that of a fancy mansion, with soon Kigali can help but say, I should have figured Zaf would like a fancy place like this, but given all the hard work the people have done for a city like this. With soon, as Andrew Walfeld was about to explain, within Aaron saying, actually Kigali, this is an Atlantic Federation artwork, not for Zaf. Zaf are a lot more modest, to be honest, and more futuristic, to be fair. With then Sue Walfeld saying, you know your stuff. How did you know this? This territory was originally owned by the Eurasian Federation, after all. And I heard that they were a big shot noble, so of course they would want to have a place that symbolizes their status and a reminder of home, to be honest. Saying, you know your stuff. This place isn't my kind of taste, but I mostly prefer something a lot more modest and doesn't say I'm the richest guy around. Obey me. With then soon and saying, I know that feeling. With then, both Kira and Kigali could not be shocked that the two of them are basically talking to each other, almost like old friends. With then, soon, arriving into the mansion and getting out of the Jeep, Aisha, Walfeld's lover, soon appeared and walks over to Andrew saying, "Welcome back. Did everything? It went pretty well, Aisha. Sorry for worrying you if I did." Saying, "Don't worry, Andy. I know you'll be able to handle yourself." With then soon looking at Kira, Kigali, and Aaron saying, "Oh, who are these three?" With then soon, as Kira getting nervous with Kigali being on guard, as Aaron speaks up saying, "Hello, the name's Ace. These two are my friends, Kira and Kigali. It's a pleasure to meet you." With then both of them looking back at the tan-skinned mercenary, with them basically having the look saying, "The hell are you doing?" With then soon looking at them saying, "Just play along." "Oh, well, it's a pleasure to meet you," as Aisha says. With then Andrew saying, "You see, little lady right here got quite a bit of a mess due to our actions. So you think you could look after her for the time being?" With then Aisha saying, of course. Don't worry. I'll make you look way well, young lady." Saying, "Hey, I don't." As then grabbing onto Aisha, saying, "Besides, I have a friend that'll actually make you look quite pretty, to be fair." With then soon Kigali saying, "The hell?" With then Kira and Aaron are basically left with Walfeld, with Kira feeling nervous, as Aaron not feeling that nervous at all, saying, "So," Kira saying, "Sure." With soon bringing the boys to his private study. As for Kigali and Aisha, on the other hand, she begins basically cleaning her up at least a little bit, while within soon somebody coming in through that of the bathroom door with that of a dress saying, "Hey Aisha, I got you the dress that you wanted." Within soon saying to her friend and Zaft officer saying, "Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate your help." Saying, "Don't mention it. Besides, a girl like her, she's so cute. It'd be a waste to see her in a dress." Saying, "The hell are you talking about?" With then saying, "Oh, she's feisty too. I like that. It even shows how much of a beauty she could be in a dress." With then Kigali begins blushing, saying, "I don't like dresses. I despise them." With then soon Felicia basically hearing that saying, "Trust me, kid. Trust me, girl. I feel the exact same way you do. But nothing wrong with showing off a little bit of curves after all." With then, after hearing that, Kigali couldn't help but blush, as soon Aisha saying, "So, I'm guessing you're feeling nervous because you have somebody you like, or a boy you like. I'm guessing one of the boys you came in with, Kira or Aaron." With then Kigali saying, "That's not it. Nothing like that. Well, I don't like that guy, Aaron. He's too much of a jerk and somewhat of a prick and an asshole, but I could tell he's a guy that cares, but a bit of a prick. Kira, on the other hand, he's way nicer, kinder even. Even after what I did to him, he still tries to, make me feel a lot more better." With then Sue, Felicia saying, "So, I could tell you kind of like both boys, but one of them you actually like the most, and it's the Kira one." "I'm actually quite interested now." With then Sue, Kigali saying, "You tricked me out of it." Saying, "Nah, you tricked yourself." With after hearing that, soon Kigali couldn't help but get annoyed at the fact that she basically played into it. With then soon Aisha couldn't help but also actually be happy that she was able to. She's always been around that of the White Fangs after all, but when being around Kigali, she couldn't help but actually tease her a little bit. more in a way of that of an older sister teasing a little sister, to be fair. With Eren, Walfeld, and Kira, on the other hand, currently in his study, with that of multiple couches, a large desk, with that of the showing windows behind the desk as well, with that of a bar. However, instead of alcohol, it's mainly that of coffee beans, actually. With then soon Andrew Walfeld making that of a coffee for himself, even making that of 2 other coffees too, in case, saying, "So, would you boys like coffee?" With Kira being stuttered after being asked the question, saying, well, no, actually, I'm good." Within Eren basically not saying, "I'll take a cup. I could really use it right now." With then Sue saying, "All right then," grabbing one of the cups while also drinking one he's already drinking now, as soon offering the cup to Eren. But then Eren drinking it as Kira saying, "Wait, you're not afraid that it could be poison?" Saying, "It's not. Trust me." Saying, "How do you..." He's already aware that we're part of the Alliance, or rather you and Kigali are, or don't know that she's part of the Desert Dawn. But for me, I'm a mercenary. Guy's not as stupid as you think. Trust me. With then Sue, Kira basically nervous, while then Andrew taking a seat, saying, I may not be able to hear your whispering, but I can tell that it's about me. I can understand the reason why." With then Sue saying, "Well, can't help it. I mean, you're the Desert Tiger, one of the most well-respected ZAF commanders on NASA the invasion front, after all. Plus, you have a lot more honor and discipline than a lot of others, especially a man by the name of Raoul LaCroixet." Within hearing that name, soon Walfeld couldn't help but narrowing his eyes, but not at Eren, but just at the name alone, saying, "I'm aware that LaCroixet has quite a bit of a, reputation. Same thing goes for me. It only makes sense. The guy basically drove himself into politics, after all. And a soldier who basically puts himself into politics over doing his duty to his homeland is basically somebody who can't be trusted so easily if he's willing to basically double deal. And I'm not like that, to be honest." With then hearing that, Kira couldn't help but be shocked hearing the words coming from this man, a ZAF commander, an enemy of him and his friends. The same, especially since ZAF was the one that destroyed his home, being Heliopolis, and forced him to fight, especially finding out that he has to fight his childhood friend Athrun at that. So he can't help but be at least a little bit skeptic. With then soon, a door opens, as it being that of Shiro and Melanie. With then Sue saying, Commander Izuyoi." With then hearing the name, Eren basically sees Shiro Izuyoi, and just by looking at her, as he saw her picture, but it wasn't really well rendered picture after all. But this is the true picture. This is who Shiro Izuyoi truly is. A beautiful, white pale skin young woman with that of white hair, with that of blue highlights in her hairs as well. With that of a curvy, but also quite muscular figure, to be honest. Even with her not even wearing that of a ZAF uniform, and wearing that of casual clothes alone, shows quite a bit of her figure. With then Sue, Eren couldn't help but be staring at the older woman, with him blushing quite a bit, seeing her. As the Archangel crew may have tons of beauties, but seeing her in person just says it all, after all. With then Sue, she's saying, "Oh, looks like you brought in guests. It's a pleasure to meet you, boys." With then looking at Kira, thinking that he's cute for somebody of his age, before looking at Eren, saying, "Oh, you're... have we met before by any chance?" With then Sue, Eren couldn't help but be shocked, saying, "No, ma'am. I think I would know meeting somebody like you, especially since you're the white fox after all. With then saying, I guess so. You just look familiar to me, that's all. With then Melanie basically narrowing her eyes at Aaron as she thinks, I know him. I think I remember hearing about him actually. As Melanie's in her own thoughts, within soon, coming through that of the door, again being that of Aisha, with that of a well-kept and more elegant Kigali, now in a dress, with Felicia walking behind her as well, with that of a, well, somewhat happy and smug look on her face. Within soon, Kira seeing that of Kigali in a dress saying, what the? You're a girl? With then soon Kigali blushing and that of annoyance saying, you really thought I wasn't? With then soon Aaron could help but laugh saying, oh my god, you actually literally said it. I really thought that you wouldn't. Oh god, you're so predictable, Kira. With then soon Kira blushing while being laughed at by Aaron, as the laughing from Aaron isn't really helping, saying, you're not damn helping, you damn mercenary. With then soon shouting that out, with then hearing that, the ZAF officers couldn't help but actually smile, while some of them were narrowing their eyes once again, mainly that of Melanie, with then going to one of the seats, being that of Shiro and Melanie alongside Felicia, as Aisha goes behind Walfeld at his chair. Within, Walfeld saying, so, you're a merc, it seems. I'm not surprised. You do have that feeling, but when you're in the firefight, though, it seems like you'd be your first time actually shooting somebody, or almost more like first time shooting a human being, to be fair, I'm guessing. With then, too, saying, that obvious, was it? Saying, it makes sense, being a decorated soldier of all, so you can tell that I'm green. Saying, green on the green shooting in person, but not green on the battlefield when it comes to mobile suit combat, I'm guessing. With then, soon, both Kira and Kigali can help but be shocked. With then, soon, Kigali saying, then why the hell were you even out there to begin with? To allow Blue Cosmos to basically cause that much destruction in town? Does the Desert Tiger like to basically stroll around pretending to be somebody he's not and basically allow terrorists to attack him so easily in front of innocent civilians? But I shouldn't be surprised from a damn tyrant such as you, especially knowing that the White Fox is here as well. With then looking at Shiro, as Shiro basically not even say anything, she's still having a smile. However, her eyes say that, please sit down, little girl, in that of a menacing look. Within, Kigali basically seeing the look as she begins to sit back down in that of fear, saying, and by judging from you must be one of the Desert Dawn rebels, or rather rats, I should say. But then Kigali getting angry at that before looking at Kira. Within sued Shiro saying, and you're the last one. It only makes sense. Somebody of your just by looking at you, you're a coordinator. You're the pilot of the strike, are you not? Within, Kira saying, you figured it out just by looking at me? Saying, I already figured. When she said mercenary, I already figured that it either had to be the strike, be that of the Astray pilot. However, Walfeld and I already fought against him once, and through that of the comms, he's a lot more older, to be fair, especially through that of the open channel radio. And I figured, and when hearing about the second mercenary, he seemed to be a lot more younger, as somebody that seemed to be at least in his late teens or early 20s. And I figured, and so we narrowed it down to you, pointing at Aaron, within Aaron looking at Kigali saying, you just had to open your big mouth, didn't you? With Finch saying, shut up, saying, you know I'm right. Within Kira, on the other hand, is freaking out, saying, so what do you want to do with us? With then Sue And Walfeld saying, personally, nothing. I just wanted a conversation, to be honest. I wanted to know about you, or rather, the two of you, pointing at both Kira and Aaron, with the suit. Aaron saying, figures. A warrior like you wanted to know what another warrior like us would think. Within Sue, Kira saying, I'm not a warrior. I don't even like to fight, to be honest. It's just so damn pointless. All of this is, with then Sue hearing that, everybody in the room couldn't help but, well, have that of a sad frown, thinking of Kira like that of nothing but a simple child after all. With Kigali agreeing with Kira, however, Aaron, on the other hand, couldn't help but shake his head, saying, once again, naive, stupid, one-sided child. With then Sue, Walfeld saying, I see. Soon getting out of his chair before going to his desk, pulling something out of the drawer before pointing a gun at both Kira, Kigali, and Aaron, as Kira and Kigali begins to basically fear for their life. However, Aaron, he's not even phased, as he's aware on how Walfeld isn't going to kill him. However, part of him is somewhat terrified, given that this isn't the same Gundam timeline, and that he's currently in that of an alternate, in an AU universe. So part of him is in fear, while part of him basically hopes that he stays to the script. As his eyes basically say, please don't shoot, please don't shoot, please don't shoot. With then soon, he's saying, so tell me, boy, what is the point? Why do you say that it's pointless of fighting after all? With then, tell me, what's the reason behind you fighting in a war if you think it's pointless? With then soon, Kira finding the strength to say, I fight for my friends. Simple as that. With then Sue saying, I see. Well then, what about you, Mr. Mercenary? Why do you fight? For the money? For the coin? What is it? With then Sue, Aaron realizing, so he really is doing it. He was never going to shoot, but just wanted an answer from Kira and Kigali, just like before in canon. Well, that means my original plan could still work. Thank God. Within Sue, Aaron finishing up drinking his coffee, placed it on the coffee table, saying, well, my reason for fighting? It's pretty simple, really. With that a dramatic pause, saying, it's to end this war. Within, everybody in the room was completely, utterly shocked and dumbfounded, especially Kira and Kigali, as they didn't expect him to say that. With then soon, Walfeld, on the other hand, is actually quite intrigued, alongside Shiro as well. Within soon, he's saying, oh really? Then tell me, why is that? Why do you want to end this war? As a mercenary, when you want it to continue going on, the more war there is, the more money you make. So, within soon, Aaron saying, well, you would think so. As a mercenary, of course, the more money we make, the more war there is, the more money we make. But that's not the kind of mercenary I am. I'm a mercenary. I'm from Avalanche. I'm pretty sure you've heard of the name after all, given that our probably name had been going around the round from that of Zaf and the Alliance, right? With then Sue, Melanie speaking up saying, well, of course, it has, as the pink net basically speaks up. With then soon, Aaron continues going, well, in case you were wondering, I can't give you my real name because part of me can't remember it, but my code name, it's Ace. Just Ace. And that will give you a name the next time that we fight on the battlefield. Avalanche, on the other hand, is a mercenary company whose duty is to end this war. Our main purpose is to make sure to keep casualties and deaths on the battlefield as minimum as possible. We kill, but we prefer not to kill. We save people, but if it means letting them go back to their families, that's the reason why Avalanche exists. And Avalanche isn't just composed of naturals, but also coordinators as well. Within hearing that, all of them could not be shocked and surprised, with especially Wellfeld saying, an organization that only composed of naturals and coordinators, do they argue, threaten each other, despise one another, not get along with that basically cause an end to the missions? Within soon, Aaron speaking up saying, not in the slightest actually. Surprisingly, it's mainly those who are open-minded about coordinators and naturals. Naturals who don't see coordinators as genetic monsters, coordinators who don't see naturals as beneath them of the evolutionary food chain and all that. To them, in Avalanche, everybody is neither coordinator or natural. To us, we all see naturals coordinators as they always are, because nothing's changed as human, because we are human. Doesn't matter if our genes are different or if we were born naturally or born genetically altered, we're all still human. And I think that's the reason on why this war is completely and utterly stupid. With then hearing that, both Kira and Kigali could not be utterly shocked at those words. Even the coordinators in the room. However, for Shiro on the other hand, she couldn't help but be shocked, surprised, and also intrigued even more. Basically leaning on every word that Aaron says, with then soon Alicia saying, then tell me, if you say this war is stupid and pointless, and yet Avalanche's reason is to end the war, why haven't you? Saying, we're just one group. And honestly, we're a group that's mainly stayed in the shadows. I mean, if everybody knew that Avalanche existed, you really think the plants and the Alliance would basically allow us to exist when this whole war is basically a war against natural and coordinators? Hearing those words, soon Felicia speak up saying, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Within Melly saying, agreed. The council and also the Atlantic and Eurasian Federation would definitely destroy a group like that. It only makes sense that you all had to be in hiding. Yeah, but tell me, how do you all think this war is going? How do you think it's going to end? And and don't be biased because you're all coordinators and all that. How do you try and see this from other people's points of view as well? Within hearing that, soon, Shiro saying, I believe it should end peacefully, actually. With Supreme Chairman Klein still being in charge, I hope that he'll be able to convince the rest to realize that this war needs to end sooner or later. Possibly even those in that of the Atlantic and Eurasian Federation will figure this out too, that this war is basically pointless, just as you say. But personally, everybody has their reasons on why they fight, especially us soldiers. We all have our own reasons. Some want us to have vengeance for Julius 7, while some of us want to protect our families. The same thing also goes for those of the Alliance as well. There are soldiers that also want to protect their families and loved ones at home too. So, to be honest, it's not going to be that easy to achieve peace as much as we hope it would be. With then hearing all those words, Kira couldn't help but be shocked, with even that of Kigali too, as they didn't expect the words coming from somebody like that of the White Fox. However, for Aaron, on the other hand, he was completely and utterly dumbfounded, saying, she's completely speaking just like Kira. However, instead of being too damn optimistic and too damn narrow-minded in his own views, she's being more open-minded, more aware on how people would possibly think and react. Wow, I didn't think I would actually meet somebody like her in this world. Beauty, talented, animate, and basically, and also socially aware as well. She's truly amazing. With then Sue Harriet saying, that makes sense. However, there are things about that probably wouldn't, especially how this war will probably end, to be honest. There are 5 ways this war will end. But guys, you really think this war will end in 5 ways? What makes you think that? Saying it's obvious on how. But however, I will rank them from least likely to most likely to happen. First up on the least likely to happen scale is that, just as Miss Shiro said, that both the Alliance and the plants realize that what they're doing is wrong, pointless, and stupid, and basically create that of a treaty to put an end to this war before any more lives are wasted. But then Kira saying, how is that the least likely of happening? Saying, because human hearts aren't that easy to change. Humans aren't that easy to basically realize the faults of their actions, and we're basically stubborn, ignorant, and stupid creatures to want to have something like that without bloodshed to achieve it. Within hearing that, Kira couldn't help but look down, thinking that Aaron's right, but part of him refused to believe it. The second, being the fourth reason that it's least likely to happen, is that this war goes on and on and on to the point that even that of our children began to take part in this war. But then everybody actually shocked and surprised hearing that. However, unlike us, who basically fought this war and know the reason why, our children, on the other hand, wouldn't. Our children would see this war as pointless and stupid, and basically try to see it from that of a more logical and more understanding perspective. That the new generation would learn from the old generation's mistakes. Hopefully. That's another reason on how this war would end, but again, least likely to happen. Now, here's the one that's basically in the middle of least likely but most likely to happen. That being, all resources from both Earth and the plants runs dry. The plants have that of limited resources, to be honest. And we're aware of that. Many of your resources come from that of artificial, or they come straight from space, which is quite infinite, but also limited at the exact same time as well. So chances of you gaining enough resources to continue this war on forever and ever is less likely to happen. And I would say the same, and it's also the same for the Alliance as well. You may think it's stupid because they're on Earth. However, because of the neutron jammers, and also relying on that of backup power supplies without that of, nuclear power plants, they're most likely, a lot of people have died and starved because of them. They can't keep on relying on that of emergency power supplies such as that of electricity and wind power as well to keep on going. Even solar energy is limited too. They're going to run out of too many resources to power their mobile suits and facilities as well. And that would be another reason on why they would want to end this before it becomes too late, before both sides lose so many resources in this war. With that, it would make logical sense, reasonable and mainly logical sense. Nobody would basically want to go out losing so many of their resources in just a meaningless war like this, as they think. With then Aaron thinking, yeah, if only that was the simple part. Now time to go for the ones that are most likely, because they will happen. The second thing that's most likely to happen, the second reason, a third force, with then everybody thinking, what? With soon, Aaron saying, you might be confused what I mean by a third force. I mean a third force that both the Alliance and Zaf can get behind. Basically, a force so dangerous, so difficult, and unable to defeat all by themselves that they had to work together to defeat them. That they had to work together to bring an end to the war once and for all. While working together, they can realize that their differences are that they're no different from one another. A way to unite factions without having to cause any more needless or pointless bloodshed to be fair. How does that, hearing that option, it would make a lot of sense. However, the only difference is there's no third faction in the world that could go against that of the Alliance and Zaf, to be honest. That would make them want to go against one another. The only faction that would be is within Kigali realizing, are you saying Orb? Are you saying that both the that the Atlantic Federation, Eurasian Federation, and the planets should attack Orb? What is with you? With then soon, Aaron looking at Kigali, not even phased. With then soon, Aaron saying, I didn't say it had to be Orb. I just said it had to be a third faction. Why the hell are you jumping to conclusions? With then soon, Kigali realizing his words and realized he just jumped to it without even realizing it. As she sits back down, as Kira wanting to comfort the girl that's literally his twin sister without him knowing, as Walfeld speak up saying, a third faction. A faction that would be quite dangerous for both sides to go against, you say. But then looking at Aaron saying, I get where you're coming from. But then soon, Aaron can help but be shocked, but realizing that this is Walfeld, of course he would probably put two and two together. Probably thinking that Avalanche would be that third faction that will force both the Alliance and Zaf to work together to defeat us. Unfortunately, that's not even going to be the case. I'm the only person of Avalanche that even exists because there is no Avalanche. Like hell, I would be a one-man crusade that would basically take on the world after all. I ain't celestial being. And now, the most likely on how this war will end entirely, and because it's already heading that way to begin with then everybody completely on edge on that. Within soon, Shiro's eyes widening and shocked, realizing what he's going to mean. Even Melanie actually coming to that realization too, with then saying, full-on genocide. With then everybody completely caught off guard. It's with soon Kigali saying, you really think that they're going to commit genocide on one another? Saying, and why wouldn't they? With then everybody completely caught off guard. With then looking back at the Zaf forces in front of him saying, think about it. All of this started with Blue Cosmos taking a nuke to Julius 7, blowing it up and causing thousands of deaths. Then in return, to make sure that nukes don't happen again, the plants basically create that of neutron generators and gemmers to be correct, and cause all nuclear power plants on the Earth to basically shut down, causing tons of cities that basically run on nuclear power to basically go basically months with no food, water, or power whatsoever, causing many people to starve, forcing millions to die. Once again, this war began because of being attacked and retaliating. And soon that creates that of hatred for one another, hatred for causing this, hatred for death. And then after that, the Alliance, the Eurasian alongside the Atlantic Federations decided to work together to take down the planets, filled with that of hatred of losing loved ones who starved or died from no power. Then soon, the planets got involved with bringing out that of mobile suits and causing more and more hatred. This war has been going on for literally half a year now. There's so much blood on both sides. None of you will probably stop until the other side is either submit or dead. And given that, currently right now, the Atlantic Federation is one of the most active on basically wanting the war to continue, alongside that of the radical faction led by Patrick Zolid himself, is also wanting to put an end to the war by any means necessary. It only makes sense. This war will end until one side either dies or either destroyed. Simple as that. Literal genocide. With that, it basically lingers in the air that this is basically the ways on how the war will end. With then soon Kira saying, you can't be serious. That's Kira. for once in your life, try and see this from not just your own bubbled point of view. Try and see this outside of your own thoughts, your own experiences, and try and see this from other people's experiences. With then Kira listening to what Eren said, as using his ultimate coordinator brain for once, finally sees what Eren's trying to say, saying, "You can't be serious. That you really think people would go that far?" Saying, "I know they would." When you have this much hatred for one side, for merely existing, for one side taking away your home, your family, your livelihood, everything, of course, they would do anything to make sure that you were gone. And that's the cycle of hatred that we live in. With then hearing all that, everybody begins to feel depressed. Hell, even Eren himself for bringing up all of this. Because to be honest, this is literally the 5 ways on how all of this begins, to be honest. In Seed, it shows that both Zaft and the Alliance are starting to run down on that of forces. Next up, to gain basically more, after losing their mass driver, soon the Atlantic Federation, alongside those of the remaining Eurasian Federation that didn't die at Joshé, begins to attack that of Orb so they can gain back their mass driver and get back Morgan Reed, which again calls into that of wanting to gain back resources. Hell, if that damn bastard Azrael didn't attack Orb, hell, Patrick Zala would have attacked Orb to get back both the justice and the freedom. I know it's hypothetical, but it is most likely to happen after all. Then there's the third faction, basically a mixture of both Orb, those who renegade against that, the Alliance, and those who are against that of Patrick Zala. Basically, the 3 ships alliance that will basically be created. Ridiculous. Still stupid that 3 ships with limited supply of mobile suits go against 2 basically indestructible armies, and yet they stand out. Just because they have 2 mobile suits with nuclear power, they're able to stand against their own? Still ridiculous. But again, it happens, which will force both of them to basically try to destroy them sides while also focusing on themselves. They didn't work together. If they worked together, they could have bring down the 3 ships alliance, and yet they didn't. Another reason on how this war will probably end. And then there's the whole them creating a treaty after the death of Azrael, basically the Blue Cosmos inner circle in that of the Atlantic Federation, and Patrick Zala basically being on his genocidal power trip as well. That would cause them to have the treaty. And then you have that of the last option being the next generation learning from the past generation's actions. Unfortunately, that still hasn't happened yet. If the creator didn't die when they were planning on creating that damn movie after Destiny, then we would have not go through the exact same bullshit. We would have had a more, better conclusion, to be honest. But of course, we can't have everything. With then soon getting out of his own thoughts of then soon Shiro saying, I think we all need to think about what we want in this war. You 3, you should probably head back to your battleship after all. With then Kira and Kagalia refuse, saying, You're just gonna let us go? With then soon Aish saying, we were planning on letting you go to begin with. We just wanted your own point of view on how you see this war and on how that of a soldier. Personally, I didn't expect that I would get that of a course on how we most likely are going to end this war and that of more pointless bloodshed. But then Wildfell saying, agreed, I may be a soldier, but I don't like to see too many people have to die for basically nothing. And seeing from your point of view, the worst part is you're not completely wrong. Out of all of those, even the least likely of options, they're still reasonable. With Finn saying, of course you would know. But then soon, Shiro saying, Ace, was it? Personally, I think you're right about each and every one of them. However, your first and your last options, though, they're most likely going to definitely happen, I believe. With then Eren completely caught off guard, saying, "You really think so?" Saying, "I know so. If people like you exist, most likely the second option seems the second most likely option seems more better, to be honest. But what would happen if that third faction actually won over both the Alliance and Zaft? What would you say the reason for doing so is? That they would want to go against them?" With then hearing that, soon Eren couldn't help but say, as it just blurted out, saying, "To end the war as a whole, and no more being called coordinator or natural, we would just be human. Simple as that." Within hearing those words alone, Shiro couldn't help but actually blush before then saying, "I absolutely agree." With that, both the young man and the somewhat older woman couldn't help but stare at each other, almost like that they were the only two that were left in that room. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys take it? To be honest, I felt like this was, well, justified, to be honest. It only makes sense that I would have to bring up things that the Gundam series always brings up. Multiple options, multiple ways on how a war should end and how it's going to end. Not just by the same methods, by the same ways, at the exact same time, all the damn time. Seriously, Seed really fucked that over with basically bringing out the fact that, oh, the Alliance and Zaft want to basically murder each other with nuclear weapons. Oh, Patrick Zala wants to destroy the Earth entirely with Genesis. Oh, Azrael wants to basically blow up the planet entirely with nuclear missiles. Seriously, that is just goddamn stupid. And yet that's what we got. There's no thought-provoking on reason on why they do this. I mean, we know Patrick Zala does this for vengeance and hatred for all naturals as a whole. And Azrael's basically a whiny little bitch that hates losing. Simple as that. How are you supposed to resonate with villains like that, to be honest? And don't even get me started with LaCroixant, literally the worst Char clone of all time who wants to obliterate all of humanity as a whole just because he was born and he has the right to. All the more stupid. Not only that, what I really hate the most is that, see, unlike a lot of other Gundam shows that actually show this, Seed doesn't show basically a lack of empathy. The only empathy they show is either between that of close friends or that of lovers, to be honest. And that's it. That's the only empathy we see. Not between that of enemies or anyway. I mean, sure, Kira shows empathy to an enemy that he tries to save during the battle at Joshé before he dies, but that's it. After that, back to basically hating one another for being our enemies. Seriously, get more thought-provoking. It's the very reason on why I want to do this story. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, because this one was my favorite chapter of making, to be honest. I also wanted to show that Eren isn't some ultimate badass. He may be a pretty damn badass in that of in the mobile suit, being his Gunpla, either that in the Loveless or Strife. But when it comes to being outside of it, he's still an 18-year-old kid who has never fought, who was only shot a gun during when he was hunting as a kid with his father. And that's it. He's never shot a real person. And why he had to basically convince himself that those in Blue Cosmos aren't human, even though they are human, just naively stupid and racist. And that's it. Also, that whole thing with Sai trying to get into the strike just like in canon, yeah, I had to keep that going after all. And also, as for the thing about the black market with that of, well, Kisaka, Guy, and Natural, I'll probably bring that up in the next chapter. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to keep up to date my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my main channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All link in the description below or at my main channel. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care.